This test is going to check the auctioneering of the two 5-volt power supplies to, the two 5-volt sources to my power supply here. We're going to have a USB 5-volt input and a Nintendo 5-volt input on the original board. Right now we're just using two power supplies. I have this power supply at about 5.5 volts. And the other 5-volt source is from USB, so that way, you know, there's a little bit of a difference, so we'll see some changing if there is any. So what we're going to monitor here is we're going to monitor the VCC on the regulator here and make sure that it does not drop below 3.15 volts, which is the low end of our spec here. We're loading the circuit with 20 ohms, so we have about 165 milliamps, which is close to our nominal amount of current, so that way the circuit is sufficiently loaded. So I'm going to pull the USB source, and we're going to monitor on the multimeter here and ensure that this voltage does not drop below 3.15. Okay, USB power has been removed and we saw no change. I'm going to reconnect 5-volt USB power, and I'm going to turn off the 5.5-volt supply and monitor here, and we saw very little drop down to I think about 3.20, maybe a little higher than that. So now what I would like to do is monitor these voltages on an oscilloscope just to see, you know, that we have no change on the output of that regulator. So I'm going to once again pull USB 5 volts. Saw hardly any change. Plug 5 volts back in, and then now I'm going to disconnect the other 5.5-volt power supply, and once again little to no change on the output of that regulator. So we have satisfied the tester requirement that we do not fall below 3.15 volts.